used to enjoy English. I used to enjoy creative writing. My sophomore teacher, Miss Lipschitz, said I was good. She said I had promise, a real original. She said it was so nice to see student writing with such style. Real quality work. Miss Lipschitz. I told my mom I was going to be a writer. She said, "That's nice, dear." I told my dad. He just sat in his lazy boy recliner and drank a beer. I hate beer. Miss Lipschitz said there was a contest for the best student written play. The drama club wanted to do an original work, and the person who wrote the play would get $50, and the kids in the drama club would do it right there in school. Miss Lipschitz said it was the perfect chance for me to show the world that I could write. I didn't know what to write about. Miss Lipschitz said, "Write what you know. Write what you know. Write what you know." What do I know? I don't know what I know. So I told my mom, and she said, "That's nice, dear." And I was going to ask my dad, but he was just sitting there looking at me drinking a beer, so I didn't even bother. So I went to my room and got out a sheet of paper and wrote, "Write what you know." And I looked at the paper. And I looked and I looked and I looked at that white sheet of paper, and no words appeared on it. I looked at that paper a long time. I didn't see anything. I could hear the TV in the living room and Dad's lazy boy recliner creaking and Dad opening another beer. And then I wrote a play. It was all about a man who was so self-centered that all he ever did was drink beer all day long in his lazy boy recliner. And he stacked up his empty cans in a pyramid. And the pyramid got too high and it tipped over, and the man was crushed under it and he died. Nobody could believe it was an accidental death, so they arrested the man's son. And he said he didn't do it, but they sent him to prison anyway because nobody would believe him. And by the time he got out, he was old, and all he wanted to do was sit in the lazy boy recliner and drink beer all day. I didn't have a chance to show my play to Miss Lipschitz because the deadline was the next day. So I took it straight to the theater and left it on theater teacher Mr. Larker's desk. I was real proud of it. Miss Lipschitz said so too, just for trying. I guess that means she didn't think I had much of a chance. I thought it was a sure thing. I mean, nobody else in this school was doing a play, at least nobody I knew. Well, except for that one girl, Melody Golden. Really? She told me she was going to write a play about young people's dreams of stardom, and how every young heart dreams of treading the boards and being in the spotlight. Pfft. I mean, Melanie's cute and I like her and all that, but who wants to see a play about young hearts on boards? Not me. So when I got the call the next day to go to the counselor's office, I saw Miss Lipschitz and Mr. Larkin there with my counselor, Mr. Sanchez. I knew I was in. They called me down to congratulate me about my play. They selected it. Then I saw their faces. Miss Lipschitz looked embarrassed, and Mr. Larker looked mad, and my counselor looked like he had some real bad news to tell me. And then I remembered that Mr. Larker was a drama teacher, so I just figured they were being dramatic in there. So I pasted on a smile and swung in there, waiting for the good news. Mr. Sanchez shut the door behind me, and Miss Lipschitz wouldn't even look at me. And so I waited, and nobody said anything. And then I remembered that blank sheet of paper that said, "Write what you know." And all of a sudden, Mr. Larkin's shouting, "Who do you think you're dealing with here? I'm a professional!" And then Miss Lipschitz told him to calm down, and Mr. Sanchez reminds them both what they're here for, and then he looks at me with these sad puppy dog eyes and says, "How long have you had fantasies of killing your father?" I said, "Does this mean you guys aren't going to do my play?" And Lipschitz starts to cry, and Larker is shouting how this contest is by the students, for the students, and how his drama department would never let this drivel see the light of day. And I realized that this guy Larker probably loved Melody's play. Mr. Sanchez suggested I sit outside, so I sat down on a hard plastic chair, listening to them yell. Larker was blaming Lipschitz for spawning a monster, and Lipschitz said she had no idea that I could write that kind of play. Larker yelled, "By the students, for the students," so loud that it vibrated my chair. So I got up and I yelled at the door, "I'm a student too. I've never been one of your high standard plays, but I'm still a student." And then I left. I thought I'd get in trouble, but I didn't. Nobody ever mentioned it again. And just like I thought, they did Melody's play, and then the next summer, Lipschitz and Larker got married. I wonder whatever happened to the one and only copy of One Beer Too Many. I guess they threw it away. Nobody ever mentioned it again. It's like I didn't even write a play. And I don't write anymore. Not plays, not nothing. And my life works out just fine. You know?